While this podcast isn't rated explicit, the content may not be suitable for younger listeners. Welcome to Sex for Saints, the Christian couple's guide to great sex. I'm your host, certified sex and marriage coach, Amanda Lauder. This is episode 356, Sexual Freedom. Welcome to Sex for Saints, a podcast for Christian couples. My goal with this podcast is to help enlighten, educate, and inspire you to understand yourself, your spouse, and your sexuality better. I talk about sex in a way you probably haven't heard before. I'm bold, I'm direct, but I keep everything in line with my strong Christian values. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I hope that you took my episode on how to prepare for Valentine's Day a few weeks ago to heart and have prepared your heart, mind, and body for today so that it can be extra special, either as a couple or just for you as an individual. All right, let's get into today's topic. So when we think about what drives our sexual desire, one key factor stands out: the freedom we feel in our lives. Freedom is a cornerstone of vibrant sexuality and intimacy, and its absence can lead to feelings of disconnection, frustration, or stagnation. So today we're going to explore the connection between freedom and sex, why it's so essential, and how you can cultivate more freedom in your life and in your sexual relationship. So I think it's always helpful to define words when we're starting out. So what is freedom? Well, freedom is the ability to act, think, and express yourself without undue restriction. It's about autonomy and the power to make choices that align with your values and desires. So imagine waking up in the morning and knowing you have the time to engage in activities that matter the most to you without feeling rushed or overwhelmed by others' expectations. For some, freedom might mean taking a leisurely walk alone. For others, it could mean having the ability to say no to obligations that drain their energy. Freedom can be physical, emotional, mental, or relational. But at its core, it's about creating space to be yourself. So let's dive into all of these different parts of freedom a little bit more. So first, let's talk about physical freedom. Physical freedom means feeling comfortable and unrestricted in your body. This might involve prioritizing your health by eating nourishing foods, engaging in physical activities that bring you joy, and treating your body with kindness. For example, someone might experience physical freedom by taking up a dance class that allows them to move freely and feel alive in their body. It also includes addressing any physical pain or discomfort that might limit your ability to fully engage in life or sex. So when you embrace your physical self without judgment, you open the door to greater confidence and connection with your partner. Now, emotional freedom is about being able to feel and express your emotions without fear of criticism or rejection. It's giving yourself permission to be vulnerable and authentic, even in difficult moments. So imagine a scenario where you feel overwhelmed and you share those feelings with your partner, knowing that they're going to respond with empathy rather than judgment. Emotional freedom might mean letting go of past hurts or grudges, allowing yourself to heal and fully engage in your relationship. For instance, a couple who practices emotional freedom might schedule regular check-ins to openly discuss their feelings, creating a deeper emotional bond. Now, mental freedom focuses on clarity and the ability to think for yourself, free from the weight of societal or internalized expectations. So this might involve challenging long-held beliefs that no longer serve you. For example, someone raised with an idea that expressing sexual desire is shameful might work to reframe those thoughts and embrace their sexuality as a healthy part of life. So mental freedom can also mean finding ways to quiet the mental chatter that often distracts us from sex, such as practicing mindfulness or engaging in coaching or therapy to address negative thought patterns. Relational freedom is about creating healthy boundaries and fostering relationships where mutual respect and understanding allow both partners to thrive. So this might look like a couple agreeing on how to divide household responsibilities to avoid resentment, or one partner supporting the other in pursuing their individual passions. For example, if one partner loves painting, giving them the time and space to focus on their art can strengthen the relationship. So relational freedom also involves open and honest communication, ensuring that both partners feel heard and valued. Now, sexual freedom builds on this foundation. It's the ability to express yourself, your sexual self, authentically without shame or guilt or coercion. Think about a time when you felt completely comfortable in your own skin. Perhaps you were dancing, laughing, or simply just lying in bed. Sexual freedom is similar. It means feeling comfortable in your body, free to communicate your desires and boundaries, and safe to explore your sexuality within the context of your values and relationships. For instance, a couple might decide to explore new forms of sex and intimacy together, knowing that they can share their thoughts without fear of judgment. Sexual freedom is not about doing whatever you want without regard for others. It's about cultivating mutual respect, trust, and honesty in your sexual relationship. Are you and your spouse ready to take your relationship to the next level? Whether you're feeling disconnected, struggling with intimacy, or just wanting to strengthen your bond, couples coaching can be the game changer your relationship deserves. And I've got some exciting news. I've introduced new flexible options for couples coaching, giving you more options to fit your schedule, goals, and budget. Plus, my new lower pricing makes this life-changing work more accessible than ever. Couples coaching is an investment in your relationship that brings incredible benefits. You'll learn how to improve communication, understand each other's needs, and develop a more collaborative and fulfilling partnership. And yes, we'll address the intimate parts of your marriage too, helping you create the kind of connection you've always wanted. Don't wait to make your relationship a priority. Visit amandalauder.com/couples to learn more and book your spot today. Let's create the marriage you've both been dreaming of, starting now. Okay, so now that we've discussed what freedom means in all of these different aspects, why does it matter? Well, sexuality thrives in an environment of freedom. When you feel trapped, controlled, or judged, desire often diminishes. So imagine being told you can only express yourself in certain ways or that your desires are inherently wrong. It's suffocating, isn't it? Freedom allows authenticity, which means showing up as your true self in the bedroom. For example, a woman who feels free to express her emotions and needs may be more open to initiating sex, deepening her connection with her partner. Freedom also fosters curiosity and playfulness. A couple who feels free might decide to experiment with new forms of touch or role play, finding joy and excitement in their exploration. Emotional safety, which is at the foundation of freedom, reduces anxiety and fear, both of which are major blockers to desire. Without freedom, sexuality can feel like an obligation or a chore rather than an opportunity for connection and pleasure. So what restricts freedom? Well, there's many factors that can make you feel trapped or restricted in life and in your sexual relationship. Societal expectations, for example, often impose very strict rules about what is acceptable sexually. A person raised with messages that sex is dirty or sinful might struggle to embrace their desires. Similarly, unspoken rules within a relationship can create a stifling atmosphere. So imagine a partner who expects sex on a very rigid schedule without considering their spouse's desires. Emotional baggage, such as unresolved conflict or past traumas, can weigh you down, leaving little room for intimacy. And then there's the stress and overwhelm of daily life. So when your schedule is packed with work or parenting or other responsibilities, it's easy to lose sight of your own desires and needs, and that includes a loss of freedom. So in order to cultivate freedom, start by identifying what freedom looks like specifically for you. Ask yourself, what does it mean to feel free in my life and in my relationship? For example, freedom might mean taking time each week for self-care, whether that's a yoga class, a creative hobby, or simply sitting quiet with a book. It might mean re-examining the stories you've been told about sex and relationships. Are they serving you or are they holding you back? For instance, if you believe that being a good spouse means always saying yes to sex, consider how that belief might be limiting your authenticity and freedom. Practicing self-compassion is another way to create freedom. When you give yourself permission to grow and change and make mistakes, you reduce self-imposed pressure and open the door to greater emotional freedom. Finally, create space for desire by intentionally building moments of relaxation and connection into your day. Freedom often requires time and space to breathe. So now let's talk about fostering freedom in your relationship. Fostering freedom with your partner involves open communication. So imagine a couple sitting down to discuss their needs, their boundaries, each feeling safe to share without the fear of criticism. This kind of dialogue creates an environment where both partners feel valued and heard. So encouraging autonomy is really important. When you support your partner in pursuing their interests and passions, you build a sense of freedom within the relationship. For example, if your spouse loves running, give them the time and space to pursue that. That can strengthen your connection. Curiosity, so approaching your partner's needs and desires with an open mind, is another key. A wife who listens with curiosity rather than judgment when her husband shares a fantasy creates a space for honesty and trust. And finally, collaborating on new experiences together can reignite passion. A couple who decides to explore a new hobby or travel to a new destination might find that these shared adventures deepen their intimacy. So freedom looks different for everybody. For one person, it might mean letting go of perfectionism and embracing spontaneity. For another, it might mean setting boundaries with extended family to prioritize their marriage. Freedom often feels like lightness and empowerment, like being able to breathe deeply and move through life with ease. Imagine how this might transform your sexual relationship. A woman who feels free might approach sex and intimacy with excitement rather than obligation, while a man who feels free might find himself more willing to explore his partner's needs. Freedom enhances sexual confidence, deepens connection, and sparks creativity. So if you felt free, what would that do for you sexually? Perhaps it would make you more adventurous, more willing to initiate, or more open to discussing your fantasies with your partner. Freedom might also make sex and intimacy feel like a choice, something you actively want rather than something you do out of a duty. Ask yourself, how would you like to create more freedom in your life? Are there small changes you can make today, like saying no to obligations that drain your energy or scheduling time for relaxation? Are there conversations you need to have with your partner about feeling restricted? How can you prioritize your emotional, mental, and physical well-being? Freedom is not about perfection. It's about creating the space to grow, explore, and connect. When you and your partner embrace freedom, both individually and together, your sexual relationship can become a powerful source of joy, intimacy, and connection. So what does freedom mean to you, and how will you start to build it into your life today? All right, my friends, that's all I have for you today. Remember, love is a journey, not a destination. Stay committed, stay passionate, and stay connected. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Like what you're hearing on this podcast? Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Don't forget to leave me a review and share it with your friends.